90. Navient Tangled Water. We're going after this one. We have Ronald from Street Problem. Units are the best in endless hot water delivery. Learn about Navient's condensing tankless water heaters and find a Navient contractor at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Let's work now.
Thanks for joining Attorney Doug Terry on the Ida Recovery Connection. From the station you turn to.
Who's on the phone?
WWL. Consult with Doug now on the Open Heart Jewelers talk and text line 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sinceri, Michelle Demers Sinceri. The Ida Recovery Connection. We're on tonight till 10 o'clock. We'll be on Sunday morning, all things legal, from 8 to 11. We're doing a 3-hour segment because the Saints are playing at 3:25. And they said, get ready for Boudat, the Saints' revenge battle against the Bucs in the most haunted city in America. Now, the Bucs and the Saints on Halloween night is pretty apropos. The Buccaneers, Pirates,
right.
That sort of thing.
Right.
The game day starts at 11. We'll be on from 8 to 11. Then there's the first take with Steve Geller and Scott Alexander live from Rouse's Market in Barone and CBD. We like Rouse's.
A little tailgating beforehand, huh?
That's it. We like the Rouse's on Highway 22. Our son works there, and at 1 o'clock is the Bud Light countdown to kickoff with Bobby Hebert, Christian Garrick, and Mike Detillier. Game time at 3:25 with the Moose and the Deuce.
Sounds like a pair.
Mike Austin, Deuce McAllister. Deuce is doing the SEC broadcast, one of the three.
Wow.
Doing a great job.
Yeah. I like listening to him.
Both of them are very, very good.
Yes.
Turn down the sound and listen to the Moose and the Deuce and watch Saints game. Do we have any callers? Call lines clear? I imagine they are. No, Ronald. I knew we had Ronald. Okay. Ronald, you on the Ida Recovery Connection. How can we help you?
My name is Ronald.
Yes, sir.
If you can tell me, explain something. My neighbor, tree in the backyard, fell down on top of my house, instead of my roof. It damaged the roof and the ceiling inside my living room. The roof and everything get down. The fence was destroyed and everything. What can I do? I have had this problem with this neighbor in the side. He doesn't go to there, but the rent is right now. He was empty. I'm pretty empty. I've been empty for about 8 months already. So what can I do? I have a phone number. He doesn't live there to be convinced. So I call her and say, I have everything. Then the son of her, one of her sons came and fixed their fence. But people say, well, I told her that we should say something, contribute something to fix at this day. I got this 3 of them to all the expenses. Insurance, payment on my deductible was very high. So,
Right. Well, that's okay. Is it a vacant lot that's next door, or is it a house?
It's a house, and it was used to pay the accumulation for about 2 months. He was renting it.
Okay. What I would do is since it's in the tree fell from her property, right?
Yes.
What I would ask to be, yes, sir.
But I think the property was empty, and my bill was down, so I have to pay that in order for me to be able to fix the roof and my bill.
Right. And the insurance company, your insurance company, covered to get the tree off your roof. That's correct. But you still got to get it out your yard, right?
No.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Insurance company paid.
Okay.
So what I was trying to do is tell her, I have had to go to this lady for a long, long time. The price, you guys use the weeping willow, the solid, the second tree.
Right.
Because the branches are very fragile.
Well,
on my property, yeah, for more than a long time.
how much is your deductible?
$5,900.
What parish are you in?
I'm Jefferson. I live in Gretna.
Okay, you live in Gretna. Okay. What you can do is I would write her a letter and ask her to provide you with her insurance information. I'm assuming she would have insurance for this house.
She doesn't have insurance.
Okay, then,
That's what the
okay, if she doesn't have insurance, what you could do is you're in Gretna, so there's Second Parish Court right next to the 24th Judicial District Court. And well, first of all, I'd write a letter to ask her to pay the expenses or have the tree removed because it's hers from your property. Is the tree still there? Is it, or has it been removed?
no. She was removed. She was removed, and I think to remove it, I got it, and then I proceeded to.
Huh?
It's still liable for damages.
Yeah, I know.
The only thing that I could do
Okay,
is my thing.
you got one or two choices. You could go to the Justice of the Peace and ask for your. Now it has a jurisdictional limit of $5,000, but it's a lot more informal. You go into the Justice of the Peace office, you fill out a little form, and it will serve her with a citation, and you'll have a little meeting with the Justice of the Peace on getting your money back for your deductible. But the only problem with that would be you would be limited to $5,000. The second thing right. The second part would be it's just for the removal of the tree from your premises. Or you could go to Justice of the Peace if it's more than $5,000 and you wanted to get every penny. You could go to Second Parish Court, which is right next to the 24th Judicial Court. Now, Second Parish Court. Now, the problem with that is in the Justice of the Peace, you can handwrite your claim, and it'll be served on your neighbor. It's a lot more informal. If you go to Second Parish Court, if you don't have an attorney, they'll accommodate you a little bit, but you're going to have to be a little more formal in the preparing of your petition. So you might be able to get a little help from the clerk. They might give you a little form to fill out, and they're not going to help you fill it out, but they'll give you some guidance as far as filing it as a pro se, what they call as a pro se plaintiff. But it's a lot more informal to go to your Justice of the Peace. But you're limited to $5,000 recovery. It's right next to the district court in Jefferson Parish on Durbandy Street, right by the levee. You know where the Jefferson Parish complex? Yeah, it's in Gretna. That's why it's in your neighborhood. You know where they have the Gretna Fest? Have you ever been there? It's right next to it's right in that area. It's the big 6-story building or 9-story building. And all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for the call. You looking at me in amazement.
Well, yeah.
Well, I think the issue is we talked about the law today when a tree falls from a neighboring
On somebody's house.
on somebody.
And
Well,
that's what happened.
right, but the insurance company will pay. Your own insurance company will pay to remove the tree from the house.
Sure.
But the tree's still on your property.
Right.
So in that case, when it's removed from your house, but it's still dropped on your property, what the best case scenario is to file a liability claim with your neighbor's insurance company, and they will either pay to remove it. That's the best case scenario. This situation, the neighbor didn't have insurance.
No, I understand that.
And no comment.
No comment.
No comment. All right, well, let's go to a break. This is Doug Sinceri, Michelle Demers Sinceri. Ida Recovery Connection. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
You told me today that the case law is if somebody's tree falls on somebody's roof and hurts it, they're responsible for the damage to the roof.
No. I was saying it's to remove.
That's not what you told me today.
No, that's what
That's not what you said today, because you said today that
No. It's the cost of removing the tree from the property is the neighbor's. The damage is not. There's a difference. You have the tree that's on the property that is it's on your property. That got
Well,
to be removed.
what happened with Jenny is the limb fell from her tree onto the people's roof, not in the yard.
Right. Well, she's not responsible for the damages, but she's responsible for removing the tree from their property after it's taken off the structure.
So she's not responsible for the neighbor's damage to the house.
No.
Well, that's not what the case law that the girl presented.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's who's that? I'm sorry. One more time. No, who's on? Okay, gotcha.
We also have Wayne from Manderville. So 2 holes.
No. No, they're not. The issue is there's a difference.
There wasn't an issue for Jenny's case about a tree being.
Well, then it's not. She's not liable. I thought you were talking about a tree fell on the other side's property and they need to remove it from the property. Her liability insurance would be responsible for
take the tree off the roof, of the girl's roof.
No. Her insurance will do that. The homeowner's insurance will do that. But they only pay for taking it off the roof and dropping it on the land. After it's dropped on the land, then she's responsible for removing it from her property. But she's not responsible for the damages to the roof. She's not responsible for the damages. But her property is on the neighbor's property, and it needs to be removed. So she's responsible for getting it off their property. And the homeowner's insurance company will take it off the house and drop it on the property.
Pumpkins and other gourds are perfect additions to any compost pile. Also, you can add
one branch is still connected to her tree.
And if you have a garden, be sure to add garden waste from cleaning.
Okay.
So it says, my license, let's see. One large branch toppled on top of my neighbor's garage.
Right.
My insurance company and our experienced arborist said the owner of the property that was damaged by the tree is responsible for making a claim.
A claim to remove the tree from the property, not the claim for the damage.
That the owner of property where a tree trunk is rooted is not responsible.
That's correct.
Right. I shared this with the neighbor. She said the case law did not cooperate. I figured she'd inquire with her insurance company. And I told her on the first call that she and I could cooperate with the tree removal because one branch is still connected to my tree. I followed up with her last week. The legal research I have done shows the owner of the tree is responsible for the removal.
It is, but it's not responsible for the damage. There's a distinction. She's not responsible for the damage to the house, but she's responsible for the removal.
But not from of the house, just of the property.
From the property, because the insurance company is responsible for getting it off the house.
The owner of the house.
Yes.
Okay. I think you need to go through that because I want to say something to you. I think you were so busy with your phone, you didn't really respond to the guy.
No, I didn't know the answer because he didn't have, here's the problem, and I couldn't get into it. He didn't give her a chance to take it off. You're supposed to write a letter say take it off. But he didn't do that, so that's why.
Well, maybe we could just address that situation.
Right.
So people understand. Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Yes, but I know, but that's why I couldn't answer it that way, because that was the thing.
Okay, so why don't we go
Well,
back?
we can. We got 2 calls right now. Hey, we're back. Doug Sinceri, Michelle Demers Sinceri, Ida Recovery Connection. We got a couple of calls. Next hour, we're going to give a more detailed explanation as far as a tree falling into a neighbor's house and how that works.
Perfect.
Let's go to Elizabeth from Kenner, the home of Lloyd Price. Stagger Lee. Good. What can we do for you?
Went away the generator broke and it stopped working.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I took my electricity or air conditioning. I have wooden floors and they started
Mm-hmm.
And I told whoever came out, the adjuster about the floors, and he kind of went, well, that's kind of not, and that was about it. He did walk into the house, he did walk in the hall area where it was still squeaking. And so once you walk in the hall, you walk by my laundry room, I have another small office room, and then you get to the bedroom. Go through that door into the bedroom in my bathroom. And it squeaks so loud, you hear somebody the minute they come down my hall. And, we had two people over with the storm. And they were like, afraid to walk down the hall because it made too much noise. And we were telling them, we're awake and fresh, so that wasn't a problem. We didn't have electricity. And what can we do if I get the plane back from them and they just kind of ignore it?
Well, what? When you're saying it's squeaking, what is the mechanism that's causing it to squeak?
Did they start cupping?
You wait when you walk on the floor.
I understand, but what was it? It wasn't squeaking before, right?
Correct, because y'all was had air conditioning and,
So you're saying it is squeaking because of the humidity.
Yeah.
But the humidity would have had to make it. Are they cupping? Did something happen to the under?
Because well, you're going to have a problem because if it's not covered from wind-driven rain, you're going to have a hard time getting recovery for that because typically in a hurricane you'll have roof damage, water goes through the ceiling to the floor and the floor cups. Now you're going to have to find out what's the mechanism causing it to squeak.
If you can find a wooden floor expert who can tell you why your floors are squeaking, and then tie it back to the storm.
But again, it would probably have to be from something that came from up top.
Well, really, the house is hot, and the moisture from it, and we're definitely not reducing that.
Well,
so if I were to get somebody who has a moisture gun that's reputable, can we verify that?
Well, I possibly not, but yeah, I think the first thing is if you go to the insurance company and say my floor was my hurricane, it wasn't squeaking, my generator went out and now it's squeaking. I don't, that's not going to carry the day. You're going to have to find the mechanism as to why it's squeaking. Was it because there was some water infiltration? Did water get into the floor in some form or fashion, and then it starts squeaking? Well, if it's just going to be the humidity at home, I don't think I don't think they'll pay for it because that's not an event. Because you could have humidity in a home in a non-hurricane situation.
Right. No, I can't. But
So. Right. Well.
And we did not have electricity for like 3 days.
Right. I understand. That's an uphill climb. That's a very uphill climb. You're going to have to find out what's the mechanism of the squeaking. Then it's going to have to be tied to, wind-driven rain getting into the house, some form of fashion. Now, I don't think you'll prevail based on that.
Yeah.
No. But ask the floor guy, ask your floor expert, what it is, and if there's some kind of mechanism that ties it to the storm. But general humidity is not. Yeah. Yeah. General humidity is not covered by the insurance company. It's just not. Yeah. Yes, it's not gonna. That won't carry the day. Long reach. All right. Thanks for the call. There you go. You really need a mechanism, a causation from the storm, and general humidity isn't that. All right. That's a wrap on hour number 1. We'll be back for hour number 2 on the Ida Recovery Connection. Stay tuned for national news, local news. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. We'll see you then.
What if you had? So let me ask you this. You listen?
It's working. Okay. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. What if our AC went out because of the storm? And we lost power. And we had a raised house. And raised houses, everybody knows you have to have you have to have air conditioning in them if they're made in today's houses. Because I had a claim like that with Jacques. They didn't have the proper sealing on the floors, and they started to buckle because of humidity.
Yeah, well, what they're going to say is that you didn't insulate the undercarriage enough.
So you couldn't just make a claim on your general homeowners, like if your ice maker leaks and you claim your floor because of water.
That's different. That's different because you have some kind of.
It's an event.
Yeah.
And losing power and losing your air conditioning is not an event. It's not the same thing as your freezer.
You don't get damages for losing power. You get damages from water
I'm
coming.
not talking about a hurricane. I'm just talking about, let's just say, a general claim. If we went to bed tonight and our ice maker started overflowing, our floors would be covered.
Yeah, we would
Okay.
we'd get covered for that.
So if you go to bed and your air condition breaks and you can't get it fixed for 3 days and your wood floors start cupping because of humidity, it's not covered.
Because the results were obvious.
It shouldn't cup. It shouldn't anyway. It shouldn't cup them. I mean, they would
Unless
probably.
unless
There's
they were
some defect.
installed, yeah,
Some
defect
defect.
in the installation.
Let me check to make sure it's
More than 500,000 customers were in the dark.
Yeah. So no, I don't think.
As a powerful marine storm comes by into a bomb cyclone, delivering hurricane-force winds early today. Transform of blue. The storm left the region, a fire erupted from an exploding transformer.
That's not tonight. That's not tonight.
Down power lines.
New details in the investigation of the deadly movie set
I don't know what's
shooting
wrong
of an
with
Alec Baldwin film in New Mexico. Investigators say there was some complacency in how weapons were handled on the set. CBS's
That's
Jonathan
what I
Mendes.
understood.
We know that there were 3 guys on that set. The sheriff tells me one of them was plastic. The second one was modified and did not work. Alec Baldwin was the only gun capable of firing right at it.
Authorities say it's too soon to determine whether charges will be filed. The jury is seated in a civil trial determining whether white nationalists who planned the 2017 United Right rally were responsible for the violence that erupted leading to the death of the counter.
Sounds like I don't know what's wrong with my microphone.
Plaintiffs are going to use something called the Ku Klux Klan Act, which was put on the books in the late 1800s to combat attacks on African Americans.
Game 2 of the World Series is underway
I
in
just think it's
Houston.
so loud. Why do you have it so loud?
The Astros want to avoid
That's probably why,
falling behind
Doug.
2 games to none.
I can't wait till
Boeing posted $109 million third quarter loss amid jet production issues. This